very first episode of our brand new podcast, Pathways to the Ivies. In this podcast, we are going to debunk myths with related to getting admissions at an undergraduate level into prestigious colleges, what goes into your application, what is a student mindset, and what a student should be doing in terms of profile building. As a part of these episodes, we will be communicating with the student fraternity, the educator fraternity, and the parent fraternity, and we will be trying to decode their mindsets, the things that go into this, and that's essentially what we're going to do. So, on our very first episode today, we have the brilliant, the wonderful Mr. Arihant Patni with us. He's a 12th grader going to the Jayshree Periwal International School based out of Jaipur. He has gotten into Johns Hopkins University in molecular and biological. क्या था?
Chemical and
He's
Biomolecular Engineering.
Okay, he's gotten into chemical and biomolecular engineering at the Johns Hopkins University. And today we are going to learn a little bit about him and his journey and all the good and also the bad stuff that he did along his journey and things he wished he would have done it better. So, Arihant, welcome to the show. Very excited to have you over and talk you through your journey. So, why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself besides the generic introduction that I've given you? Who you are, what do you do, how does the admit at JHU or Johns Hopkins make you feel?
So first of all, I'm Arihant Patni. Thank you, ma'am, for having me here today. And my generic introduction will be like, yeah, I'm in 12th studying IB with all the sciences HLs, but also math HL, which is not recommended by the IB to take 4 HLs. But I have gone out of my way because I was instructed by someone that it's good to have math also for engineering, and then I thought let's have 4 of them only. Other than that, I usually spend my time with my friends and all only with friends and family. Other than that, studying for the IB. Now, how does it feel? Getting into GHU was a dream that I saw around like 2 years ago now, in 11th only when my 11th started. And from that very day only, all my actions, all my activities and all, I based it in particular to GHU only. Like I just wanted to go there so badly because I researched about it. I looked at their research faculty, I looked at everything that GHU has, and I found that as the perfect place and perfect fit for me. So finally getting into was a big achievement for me. I still remember, like, I got a hoodie from GHU only when I went for this for the summer program, and I did not wear it until and unless I received my admission update. Until and unless I received my admissions update. So the day I received it at night, 1:01 a.m., I went to my wardrobe and just bring it out and wore it as I own it now. So yeah.
Kudos for that. That is fantastic with all the good stuff that you've done. And I'm very excited to interview you. And of course, our association goes a very long time ago. But
Yeah.
other than that, I don't know too much about your journey. So wonderful to have you on board. Now, the very first thing I would like to ask you is why the interest in biochemistry and physics? Where did that come from? Were you always very crazy about it? How did your interest get sparked in that direction?
So like till eighth, I did not have any interest, and I was not able to figure out which subjects to choose. But in IGCSE, we had to pick out 10 subjects. So I did it mixed with chemistry and physics as well as with econ and BM. But then my counselor in 10th IGCSE recommended me to take bio also. And I was very against bio during that time because I was like, bio is all theory, and we just have to learn and that's it. But I never understood the intrigue behind bio at that point. But my counselor recommended it, so I took it as a chance to see what does bio have exactly. And when I started finally studying bio as well as chemistry, then I learned the beauty, like the how it tells how body functions, how it tells us like everything, why there is everything the way it is. So that's why my intrigue in science began from that moment only. Like I wanted to know these questions, like where did we come from, where is everything, what is everything made up of, and what is the like significance behind the things that are around us. So yeah.
Wonderful. That is great to know. I have one more question for you before I jump on to the next one. Somewhere just at the beginning, you mentioned that you had four HL subjects, three sciences and one math. Did you take all the three sciences? How was it dabbling four HLs? Because three HLs itself is so tough, and you dealt with four, and I'm assuming you ended up getting great points, at least at the predicted level. So, what were those four subjects, and how was it dealing with four HLs?
So, like till this date, I have a perfect IB scores for all my midterms and half full year. Like in 11th, I got 42 out of 42, and in 12th also so far I have gotten 42 out of 42 only with four HLs, and I have my boards in 1 month only now though. So it's difficult, but as well as it's challenging, and challenge is something that I always look after. And doing four HLs is a little bit time requiring, and especially when it's physics and math are chill together. But at the same point, if you just continue practicing throughout the whole time, then I don't think so anyone will have a problem. And I also changed my mindset to this, like it is not a 4HL, it is just something that I have to do. Because most people would like to think, oh my god, I'm taking 4HLs, oh my god, I'm taking 4HLs, I have to study. But I see it in this way, like these are the subjects I did not have any other option only, and I have to do them. That helps a lot because this mentality helps me to propel forward only, to not look after things, to not look up to my decisions, and just do it.
Wonderful. So, are you saying that success is actually a mind game? Like, if you put your mind to something and stop, blowing things out of proportion, that, hey, this is really tough, you can achieve anything that you desire in life?
Yeah, so like I was reading a research in 11th only, like in 11th and 1 year ago, a research about brain, and it tells like how brain has no limit. It suits it it suits up to your limit. If you choose to extend the limit, then it will choose that limit. If you choose to beneath the, like if you choose to limit like beneath the, then like okay, मैं इसको अच्छे से बोलता हूँ थोड़ा.
कोई बात नहीं.
So like हाँ, like if you choose to extend your challenges, then your brain will get adapted to it. But if you don't, then your brain will be adapted to your normal level only. So it's up to you what you set your challenge and what you set up to your level, and then your brain will get adapted to it within time. That's what I like to believe.
Wonderful. So, on a high level, very briefly, can you talk about the major highlights of your profile while you were doing your application? The four or five, or a couple of things that you believe were like the stellar parts of your profile. If you could let our audiences know what did you do very briefly, that would be perfect. And then we'll dive into the details of it.
So when I was preparing to build up my portfolio, one thing that I always remember was to keep it as much as diverse as possible. By diverse, I mean like keep it like include leadership roles, but as well as include sports, as well as include some other activities or hobbies that you always want to do, because that shows to the colleges that yeah, you are not only just studying, but you are participating in the other cultural activities also and other things. So I participated in like in competitions, some good science competitions. Like I participated in Diamond Challenge. I also participated in some science fairs online. Other than that, I went like one of my key activity was my summer program. My the summer program that I went to, which was at GHU only, and there I did some research work along with my professor, and I chose to build a relationship with him, so that professional relationship, so that he can help me later in the future for my application only. As well as other than that, I have some um, eco-friendly ECs also that I got into myself, like some sustainability some sustainability startups and something like that for my applications, because I just looked up to them. I just thought of the idea, and then I felt like doing them only just for the community, not for the colleges. But yeah, and one thing I would like to say is, like so many of my friends, when they were selecting to choose activities, they were doing it just for the purposes of colleges. But I did not like I did not like this idea, because I was always choosing the things that I actually want to do rather than things that I'm forced to do just because of the colleges. So yeah.
So, what you're trying to say and rephrasing everything is one thing is what you're passionate about, and one thing is what you want to do for colleges. A good
Yeah.
student is somebody who can build a bridge between both of them, something that you're passionate about and can get you for college and leave a lasting impact. Am I correct when I say this?
Yeah. Yeah. You can.
Absolutely. That's awesome to know. So, you mentioned you've done some science competitions and your academic excellence is just impressive. What are the competitions that you prepared for? Just like the diamond competition that you mentioned. Is there a list of competitions generally, somebody who's aiming for a major like yours or similar major that a student should be targeting or thinking of in mind? Because a lot of students don't even know these competitions exist.
Yeah, like I was one of the students who did not know any existence of these competitions. Even I was hoping at that point, like, is there any list or not? But I do have a list, and I can share it later with the viewers who all are watching. And some important competitions that I can think of at this point is the Diamond Challenge because it is a very big challenge. Other than that, there is MIT Solve. Other than that, there is some Ashoka Science Fairs also that happens every year annually, basis annually only. And then there is some Young Tech Scholars competition also that happens every year. So people should definitely look into them. Someone who is going in the same field as I am going. So yeah.
Perfect. And how important it is for you to, win these challenges, because oftentimes students want to participate in it with the sole goal of winning. So do you think winning makes an impact? Or let's say you are not able to win or not even stand into the top 10 or top 15. Do you think participating in all these challenges or the list that you will later share with the audiences make a difference?
Yeah, so I don't think so. Winning is important because I personally did not win any of these competitions, the one that I took part in. In Diamond Challenge, I got myself into the semi-finals round, but then we did not make it to the finals round. Other than that, I was only in the quarter rounds or quarterfinals only. That's it. And it is important to participate in in these competitions because it helps to look at the weaknesses and the flaws in your ideas and all. Like I remember specifically the one thing that I loved about Diamond Challenge was when we got eliminated, I received eight advices and eight recommendations from eight different professors of all around the world about my idea and their insights on my idea, which was actually very helpful. And then I was able to put their points also into my idea and was able to develop it further. So I think so, like, it does not matter how many competitions you take part in, just learn to take the output of the competition rather than seeing whether you are winning or not.
Wonderful. So just participate in competition. To some level, it also demonstrates academic excellence, but winning is not necessary. As long as it's showing participation, you're good to go. That's a
Yeah.
fantastic point, Arihant. Absolutely great to know. What, according to you, is something that a college, like any aspirational college, looks at or looks for in an application? According to you, like when somebody's reading your application file, what do you think the admissions officer, according to you, of course there is no
Yeah.
preset algorithm for this, and of course the outcomes may vary, but I'm just trying to understand your perspective and helping our viewers understand your perspective.
One thing that I think actually matters is that your application has some sort of flaw or some sort of weakness because colleges don't always like the students who have the perfect applications because they'll always think that either they are faking it or either they are overdoing it. But when when you show them the flaw in your application, then they learn that, yeah, this student is not just perfect, but yeah, he has been improving himself a lot. And that thing I think plays an important role in your application and in your college decision. Other than that, I can think of leadership roles. I can think of diverse roles. Like I was dancer at the same point. I was the cultural head of Jayshree Periwal International School. But at the same point, I can think of myself as a science student who loves to do research. But you should have that diversity in your application because it shows that you are not just a student who just wants to do academics, but you are a student who wants to promote other things there also, like who wants to participate and who wants to indulge in other experiences also at college.
Wonderful. And you mentioned that you were the cultural head boy, and of course, I read your resume where you also mentioned you are the president of the biotech club. Can you tell us what is the importance of being a head boy or the cultural head boy, and why is leadership considered such an integral role, or plays such an integral role in a student's personality overall, but also from the perspective of a college application?
Like for me, these leadership roles helped me to build up my personality, helped me to build up my confidence, because if I would not have been the culture led, then I would not have hosted events in our school such as TEDx or Leher or any kind of event that happens in our school. These events give me insights about how to work in a team environment, how to collaborate with others, and how to engage with others. And like I used for TEDx, we talked to so many big personalities. Like the co-founder of Indigo and many others. I don't remember the name now, but when we talk to them, so we learn about the talking skills or the communication that we have to have with them, and then we managed, like we looked at every single thing that we have to do, from the design to the bookings of their flight, and we have to manage everything like where they are staying and all. This gives us a lot of experience on field, like what it's going to be like if you're going to plan a event in the future, or if you're going to plan something in the future. So this overall helps you in improving your personality, in making yourself, you know learn to be talk like helps in your communication skills and stuff, like, if you know.
So, it's just demonstrating the fact that you are a leader, and, taking on positions like whether it's the cultural head boy or the head boy of the school definitely has an impact. In fact, from what I hear, every of your head boy or head girl from your schools always made into a prestigious school, or prestigious college abroad. Is that correct? Am I correct over there? Or my research is incorrect over here?
No, no, your research is perfectly correct. But that's just because our head boys and all, like all of our head boys, like previous head boy and current head boy also, has been involved in all these activities only and have a diverse portfolio. I am trying to say that it is not important to be the leader in the council position, but it is important to, learn to take charge, learn to be communicative, learn to get involved in team collaborations and do team competitions and all, because one of our school captains only got into Brown. So she does not have a leadership positions as high as me, but she still got into an IV such as Brown. So that shows that because she was so good in her application, because she was so good at doing things, then of course colleges will see that too.
Absolutely. And I am very fascinated by your experience at, as a research and development intern at the Neuro Equilibrium. Can you tell us what did you do over here? If you can just go from scratch and tell our viewers, how did you secure that internship? What were your learnings? How did you go about doing all the good stuff?
So I secured the relationship through our school counselors only. Like I used Periwal sir. He helped me connecting with them, and then I finally got connected. And then they agreed me and my friend to work there as a research and development intern. We what our main work was to do the research about research about diabetes diet all around the world. We were planning on making a diabetes user friendly app which helps them to measure the calories, which helps them to calculate every meal that they're having, and according to the app, what suggests like and suggest them like what should they have and what should they not have in order to control their intake of foods and intake of glucose and all, which helps them managing their life more balancedly. So main work was to do the research behind the whole app, and was to plan out the interface along with my friend of the app. The app is still in the making process, but we gave our background research, because every app involves like a first background research, then interface, and then finally the execution. So we were the people behind the all the informations and all the background informations. Like we looked up to many, like hundreds of databases about diabetes food intake, and all diabetes patients food intake, and what they give them to them when they have like high diabetes and when they have low diabetes. So our main work was to compile it together and give it to the company basically.
Wonderful. That's great work, and I am so glad that you could blend your practical work and show interest in your respective major, which is kind of fantastic while doing great work. I'm
Yeah.
also a very big fan of, your skin bank project, and repurposing fabric waste, which shows your commitment towards making a positive impact. This is something very new. I've interviewed like many students before, but this is the first time I came across something like a skin bank or, repurposing fabric materials. So, what were these projects? If you could just shed a little bit of light and, why this specific cause, I would love to know that.
I again wants to give my credits to my school, because our school promotes promotes the students to pursue more green initiatives. So that's why we even come with some and think of some. So this particular skin bank idea was made when there was a speaker at our school who talked about her experience in skin banking, and there was no skin bank in Jaipur before this. So we thought of this idea, like why is there not, and then we started building upon it, and then I finally executed it along with my junior. And yeah, and along with this, like the fabric waste one, my friend has a business in clothing industry only. So one day he was visiting his father's factory. That's where he saw like there is so many fabric waste that is just going to the landfills, and we were thinking like why is there no any other solution to that. So then we think, why not involve them, why not create a manure out of them, because they are biodegradable materials. Why just you don't make a manure out of them? And then we created manures of around 100 acres of land, and then we not 110 acres of land, and then we passed it on to the farmers who need them, because some of them could not create because of the seasons and could not afford it. So that's why we passed it on to the farmers with free of cost, with no cost.
Perfect. That is just such incredible initiatives. I think one of the things that I'd like everybody to notice is that, people sometimes just say, hey, what can I do to do community work? What can I do to do community work? I think the thing here is you should look around. When you look around,
Yeah.
you have hundreds of problems around, right? Like you figured out, hey, there's no skin bag in Jaipur. Let's bring that on. Hey, there's just, like so many pieces of fabric that are just going to waste. Let's just do something out of it. So I think this is my urge to all my students that, rather than saying, hey, I don't have a cause, look around. There are 1000 problems that you can find a solution on. And as long as your intent is right, you will be in great shape and great position, right? Just like Arihant here did it and was able to build a profile. And as he rightly said even before, that it is about what you're passionate about. It's not about the colleges. It is about you as a person. As you can, as if you get that right, you're good to go. So that's
Yeah.
perfect. So yeah, that's that. Now I actually want to ask you how important it is to think of SATs and ACTs. Look, so many colleges were test optional at that time. Now, sooner or later, a lot of colleges are being, test compulsory. But still, a lot of students come back and say, "Hey, I don't think SAT is important." So, what's your take? For somebody who's taken an SAT, been successful at the SAT, and gotten a good admission, what's your take? How do you rate SAT or test prep in general in this entire application piece?
I considered ACT as an important element for my application, because when I saw ACT, it was like it is not a difficult test to give, and it is just basic English and basic maths. Like if someone wants to do, like if 10th grader wants to do, then they can do. If 11th grader wants to do, then they can also do. It's not something that you learn in 11th and then you give the test for. You don't have particular anything to study for SAT, just to practice your basic concepts, your basic grammar, and your basic maths, and then some of the techniques and tricks that Rima ma'ams gave, or other than that, like some books that you read, you are good to go and give SAT. So I believe that one should always consider giving SATs, because this shows colleges one more aspects about your academics other than your IB schools only, other than your IB scores only. So I believe SAT is an important element, but and at the same point now, as ma'am said, like colleges are making it test compulsory, so why not just give it and get done with it. And one more advice I would like to give to the all the students here is start preparing for SCT as soon as you get done with your 10th boards, because after that you have 3 to 4 months free preparing for not prepare to do nothing, basically prepare for nothing, because IB does not require a lot of preparation in the beginning. Later when you get a hang of it, then you started working on it. But before that you are free, like in the first IB semester most students are free. So you should rather use that time to get done with SAT, because then later when you will be doing your IBs along with your ECs, then you will be feeling so stressed and all stressful and pressured at the same time. Like you have to do this, that, and that's when everything starts to mess up. So I would like to give them advice to prepare for SAT as soon as possible, just after they give their 10th board, because I think that is a perfect time to give SAT and get done with it.
I also have a question for you. Let's assume that for any reason you wouldn't have submitted your SAT score. I know your score was great. I think 1500, I believe, right? That was your
Yeah.
score. So, if you would have not submitted your SAT score along with your application, do you think you would have still made it to JHU, or you think it made an impact in getting you your dream admit?
I'm not sure about this, but because it was just 1500, it was not like 1590. So I cannot give this account like, oh my god, I got such a high score in SET. But at the same point, I believe that even if you don't have a good SET score, but you have a good academic background and a good amount of ECs, then also there's no harm of you of getting into SET. I would like to again mention something about my friends only. Like one of my friend who got into Brown, she did not give SET. She went test optional. So one more thing I would like to add, that it's all in the hands of course, admission counselors. But if of course if you are able to present yourself in the perfect way that admission counselors want, then there is no harm in not giving SET.
Perfect. But now it's a requirement, so there's only so much you
Yeah.
can do about it. Okay. Now I'd like to know about five mistakes that Arihant did starting grade 10 onwards that he thinks his juniors should absolutely avoid. Because by avoiding this, they may be able to get into a dream school. So, five mistakes that you think, people should not do or people should be aware about, as somebody who's gotten into a great school.
I would like to first say give SAT as soon as possible. Then I would like to say keep doing the things that you like, and do not just ignore them when you are doing some other important work. Because I used to play guitar and I used to love it, but nowadays I do not have the time to play or practice or anything, and I regret it so much that why I even stopped playing it and all. Other than that, I want to give like always embrace new experiences and be open to learning opportunities, because I remember me ignoring all these opportunities when 11th grade started. I was like, "Ki, we'll do it later." Do not push it for the later. Do it as soon as you have it, because it all like time flies. So of course do it as soon as possible. Other than that, I would like to say balance is the key thing that will help you. Like if you are studying for 2 hours, then I would recommend you to take a break for 30 minutes. Like I have my pre-board day after tomorrow, and I'm still going out to chill out with my friends for 1 hour or half an hour. But that's the thing that helps you keep your mind straight and set. You do not feel pressure, you do not feel stressful. So I would like to give them this advice also. And always try to get good academic scores, because in 10th, like your 10th academic scores also go, and then your consistency has to be maintained, because IB loves that. So like IB cap, what colleges love that. So maintain a good IB scores, so that maintain that consistency, so that IB can see, like, so that college counselors can see that yeah, you have been good and you will be good there at the college also.
Okay, so these are your five pieces of advice. What I want to know
Yeah.
is five mistakes you made that you could have avoided. So I just want you to be very open and vulnerable. You said, talk about things that you've gone wrong. Of course, don't go about talking. But five mistakes you made as a student very openly from your grade 10 or grade 9 onwards, which you could have avoided very easily in terms of your profile building, your academics, and your overall application. From that perspective, like specific rather than generic.
Five mistakes. Let me think. Like, I would also say, like one mistake I made was to cut off with everyone, then being with myself. I would started doing that around 11th ka
No, no,
end of
no.
this year.
This is more from the perspective of application. So you can say the biggest mistake I did is I pushed SAT to studying for later. That is your first mistake.
Okay,
फिर दूसरा mistake क्या है तुम्हारा मतलब initially a lot 9 10th का score कैसा है तुम्हारा?
all these stars.
ऑलवेज टास्क शिट ओके तो फिर मतलब थिंक अबाउट इट फ्रॉम द एकेडमिक पर्सपेक्टिव कि यू नो
या
ये मैं कर
तो
सकता था यार ये नहीं किया मैंने
अब वो ऐसा कुछ आ ही नहीं रहा मेरे दिमाग में, टू बी ऑनेस्ट।
तो सोच 2 मिनट
मैं कैसा कर सकता था और क्या नहीं करा मैंने। मेरे दिमाग सच में कुछ भी नहीं आ रहा है इस चीज के ऊपर।
सोच 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 कुछ तो गड़बड़ की होगी ना ये सोचा होगा जैसे तूने बोला ना कि अरे यार जल्दी से जल्दी एसएटी ले लेना चाहिए था उसको प्रोक्रेस्टिनेट मत करो ये
हाँ,
फर्स्ट हो गया
वो
देन
था।
सेकंड क्या है people underestimate the importance of academics तूने नहीं भी किया है तो भी बोल मतलब I have you can say I have seen my friends that
हाँ
they just get so caught up in doing extracurricular activities कि academics पे focus नहीं करते हैं please
हाँ
don't let your eyes your goal define academics is a very important piece तो उसको मत करो थर्ड इज ये बोल सकता है तू यार मैं ही पॉइंट दिए जा रही हूँ तीन इज देख लोग इतनी एक्टिविटीज कर लेते हैं पर डेप्थ कहीं नहीं नजर आता है
हाँ, ओके,
सो
या।
2 या 3 एक्टिविटीज ऐसी पकड़ो जहां से डेप्थ नजर आए आपको एंड देन बाकी हो सकती है सारी एट द एंड ऑफ द डे कॉमन एप्लीकेशन में 10 ही स्लॉट है जो भरने हैं राइट
हाँ,
तो ये
या।
तीसरी चीज बोलो अभी चौथी में सोचती हूँ रुक जा
चौथी um don't push
हाँ
anything for later.
चौथी एक्चुअली तूने ही मुझे पॉइंट दिया था सो आई थिंक एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट इवन दो ऑल ऑफ यू आर एमिंग फॉर वेरी सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ कॉलेजेस बी काइंड एंड कंपैशनेट एंड हेल्प योर स्टूडेंट्स एज
Yeah,
एज अ फ्रेंड मैंने बहुत सारे अपने फ्रेंड्स को ऐसे का फीडबैक दिया है उनसे अपने ऐसे का फीडबैक लिया है एंड इट्स ऑलवेज बिन वेरी जेन्युइन so
yeah,
it's not always about so cutthroat competition that you place it above and beyond friendship don't ever do that and last but not least, seek mentorship. Your mentor was Ayush sir, Akriti ma'am, whoever else, your parents, your friends who helped you. The journey can be extremely challenging. You can have times where you barely have time to breathe, but at the end of the day, everything pays off. So make sure that you have your mentors who guide you. Chala bol.
ठीक है। So
सारे ही मैंने बोले
so 5 pieces of mistake that I made. My first mistake was giving, like, pushing SAT to give it later, which was not a very good thing for me. Then second advice I would like to say is, do not, when you see your other friends at your school only applying to the same colleges as you for the same field, do not try to be rude with them or do not try to be competitive with them. Rather than work together, or rather than help each other in helping out building your portfolio, learn and check for peer reviews for your essays and everything. Then third mistake I would like to say is about, don't even push the importance of essay, like academics, because I remember some of my friends who did not pay attention, like who did not get good marks in 10th, and now they are regretting that why they did not. So I would like to give that also. And then fourth I would like to say, always be open for guidance from anyone you talk to, even it's a friend, even it's a junior, even it's a counselor or anyone. Never refuse them. And fifth is, don't do activities just for the sake of it. Like, even if you don't have 10 activities, but if you have 2 or 3 activities, but with full deep, with full deep like insights, and with full research and everything, then also it looks good. Because rather than having 10 activities at surface level, counselors would prefer, college admission counselor would prefer seeing 2 or 3 activities that you were actually interested in and that you spend a lot of time on. So yeah.
Perfect. So I think what you're trying to say, and this is for every parent who thinks they want to do like 30 activities in one year, which is absolutely manually impossible. Depth is more important than the breadth. Take 2 or 3
Yeah.
activities, do it consistently over a period of time, and then you can take a couple which resonate with your passion, go
Yeah.
align with your major, club it into a portfolio. And of course, the most important thing that Arihant mentioned here is it's good to be competitive, but don't be so cutthroat competitive that you want to be at each other's throats. You're going to end up where you're going to end up any which
Yeah.
ways. Friendships are more important. Reach out to people, be kind. At the end of the day, the world itself is too cruel by default, so just be kind to each other. That's the least you can do as friends. Remember, you've been together for the longest time, and
Yeah.
one application season should not change how you feel for each other. So that's that.
Yeah.
um Last but not least that I want to ask you is, what was, I mean, of course, besides JHU, what were the other colleges that you applied for? Of course, you can't just say I'll do JHU, right? So what were the other colleges that you applied for? And what was your process when you were shortlisting these schools? How did you shortlist these schools?
So since I got admitted into ED, I don't get a chance to actually apply for any other colleges like in the RD process. But of course, I did apply for some of them for the ED2 round on UCs, of course. Other than that, while I was shortlisting, I first thing that I ever look for in a college is the research lab and the research team, because the one thing that I want to do in the college also is to research, and I love to research. So that's what helps me in deciding which colleges has the best research faculty, which colleges does not. Other than that, of course, you should look at its location if location is important for you, because some of my friends just wanted to go to New York, so that's why they applied to New York universities and the universities that are based mainly on East Coast only. Other than that, like some of my friends wanted to pursue career in like film career and in drama and theaters, and they look after West Coast, like towards the LA side. Other than that, what helps me in shortlisting was the like some for some you might think that, oh my god, this college has 2.5 acceptance rate, I should look after it because I want to see whether I'm not able to get in. But do not make this a factor, because even if the college has 20% or 40% acceptance rate, but you think that you're going to fit in there, you love their environment, you love their active, you love the things that they have, you love their clubs and other things that they have there, then it's good to apply there also. Do not just shortlist them because they are difficult to get them, because they are the IVs or anything like that. You can always get into other colleges also, and other colleges of equal importance.
So what you're trying to say is just cast your net wide in terms of the colleges. Don't let facts and figures deceive you, because there have been
Yeah,
multiple instances where somebody who would be not so qualified to get into a certain college on paper has actually gotten in, and somebody who looks absolutely perfect for a certain college has not gotten in. So definitely just cast your net wide. I also love the point where you said um, location and the cost being very very important factors. I
yeah,
often come back and tell my students that um, I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with living in a snow laden country, but you have to be comfortable with the whole idea of
hold on.
moving from one part of the world to the other.
To-
And secondly, your major should be aligning to the part of the United States that you're going to. Like if you want to go for movies, a west coast is better, but you probably want
there.
to do like what you're doing, engineering, or anything related to pharmacy, or medicine. East coast is better. So um, just the ranking and the acceptance rate should not determine somebody's getting into a certain school or somebody not
Yeah,
getting to a certain school, because at the end of the day, these factors are important, but not the most important factors in terms of everything. So that's that. Yeah, so other than that, anything else that you would like your friends to know in this journey that you've done almost 2 years now, and very soon it's going to be to you know um, like you're going to like take the next steps in this journey.
okay, so
So
one more piece of advice that I want to give is select your major as soon as possible, because like some of my friends did not selected a major like till 11th end of the semester, so they were having trouble in deciding which colleges should they apply to, and then they get talking to the counselors, and when counselors recommended those colleges, they applied for them, but now they felt like they should not have applied to that particular college, but they should have applied to someplace else. So always be prepared for these things, like from the start of 11th only. Get starting preparing for these colleges and all by like with the beginning of 11th only. Other than that, I would also say manifestation is an important thing too, because what helped me to keep up with my IB, extracurriculars, SAT, and everything was that I put a picture of JHU in front of my pinboard in front of me, at my pinboard in front of me, and I wrote there next stop Johns Hopkins University. That helped me gain that put some sort of confidence and some sort of like mental support in throughout this process. So always manifest for the good things, and do not let negative thoughts cover your whole mind.
Wonderful. So I think this was a wonderful chat. I
Yeah,
had great insights in Project Gharana, the Skin Bank, your research at JHU, how important networking was in this entire process with the
yeah,
professors at JHU, what your academics look like, clearly all A stars, 42 and 42, an exception with four HLs instead of three,
yeah,
which is sciences and math, which is incredible. And of course, your journey into getting into JHU. So and of course your mistakes, which are very important for
yeah,
my for the students to learn, because at the end of the day people just want to know the mistakes, because a lot of people end up doing stuff. So that's that. I look forward to having the list of competitions that you were a part of from
yeah,
you, so that when we upload this on our YouTube, we'll put it in our caption with the list over there in there. But other than that, it was wonderful talking to you, Arihant. I had such a fantastic time talking
yeah,
to you and understanding your journey. And I'm sure that our viewers who watch this will also find the need. I need, and if they of course reach out to you, I'm sure you're the most helpful guy
yeah,
that I've known of. So thank you so much for being the very first participant on this show. And I hope once this goes live, you guys can sort of talk, and you have more people reaching out to you for help. So I
yeah,
truly appreciate your contribution to our podcast, Pathways to Ivies.
yeah.
Good, thank you, the whole.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This was my pleasure to being here as first of a student, as the first student here. So I loved it, and thank you so much once again.
वंडरफुल सो आई जब ये आएगा बाहर तो मैं तुमको बताऊंगी. आई थिंक मेरी रील्स इसमें से ही कट जाएगी, क्योंकि मुझे समझ गया कि मुझे क्या करना है.
Again,
एंड मैं कोलैबोरेटिव ये डालूंगी, मतलब मैं जब बताऊंगी तुमको तो तुम एक्सेप्ट कर लेना कोलैबोरेशन.
हाँ,
और लिंक्डइन पे डालोगी तब भी तुम्हारा क्रेडेंशियल लगा के डालोगी, एंड यूट्यूब पे डालोगी तो तुम्हारा भी यू कैन पुट इट ऑन योर दिस थिंग, यू हैव द
ओ,
फुल फ्रीडम टू शेयर इट. ठीक है. थैंक यू सो मच, रियली बहुत मजे आए. ऑल द वेरी
हाँ,
बेस्ट, स्टे इन
थैंक
टच.
यू, मैम.
मैं वैसे भी मैं अप्रैल 12 को जयपुर आ रही हूँ, तो अपन मिल सकते हैं उस टाइम पे.
अप्रैल नहीं,
क्यों, किधर जा रहा
बोर्ड्स
है?
बोर्ड्स बोर्ड्स
ओह, बोर्ड्स है.
2015